It was a beautiful morning for the homecoming parade here in Murfreesboro, and it is a perfect night for college football here in the Mid-State. Welcome to Floyd Stadium here on a Tennessee Saturday night, where Middle Tennessee welcomes an old Conference USA rival back to the building for the first time since 2021 in the Marshall Thundering Herd. Hey everybody, and welcome inside the booth. That is the All-Conference safety Jeremy Kellum. I'm Jake Rose. Thanks for joining us tonight on ESPN Plus. Should be a great ball game. Middle and Marshall both 1-2, trying to get back to 500 before conference play starts next week. And let's take a look at what Marshall did last week, the very first win of the Tony Gibson era. Man, it was a big win. You could just tell by the response to the players, giving them a Gatorade shower, how excited they were in the locker room. And not only are they excited, but Coach Gibson knows that he has an opportunity tonight to win back-to-back games in their last non-conference game, which could prepare them to having a great Sun Belt Conference season. And he celebrated the game last week by eating some Taco Bell. So yes, he's looking forward to a celebration today as well. An ice bath and Taco Bell. Dangerous combo for Coach Gibson, but he'll absolutely take the dub as we look at what Middle Tennessee did last week to get their first win. A dramatic come-from-behind fourth-quarter win led by a redshirt senior quarterback, Nick Vattiato. You're right. Nick Vattiato struggled the first two games, but in the third game, he balled out against Nevada, threw for 247 yards, one touchdown pass, and he came up clutch in the fourth quarter, last 6 minutes of the game. Two drives, including the game-winning drive when he launched himself into the end zone. And the Blue Raiders have an opportunity to win back-to-back games, get to 500, and have a great Conference USA season. Middle Tennessee has won the toss and deferred to the second half, so they will kick off to start. Middle Tennessee and Marshall both 1-2 coming into this season, trying to get to 500 before conference play starts next week. This is the first time that Marshall and Conference USA have played since Marshall left for the Sun Belt a couple of seasons ago, and we are rolling from the Burrow as that kick will bounce out of the back of the end zone, and the Marshall Thundering Herd will take over first at their own 25-yard line. And it has been an absolute quarterback carousel so far this season for the Marshall Thundering Herd. 3 games, 3 different starting quarterbacks. And getting the nod tonight is Carlos Del Rio Wilson, who got the start last weekend against Eastern Kentucky. And when you look at Carlos Del Rio Wilson, he adds another element from the quarterback position, the +1 in the run game. So look for a lot of QB runs, a lot of RPO, putting the ball in Carlos's hand to go out here and be a playmaker tonight. Read play on first down, and the toss to the outside boundary is Ben Turner, just his 3rd catch so far this season. And in talking to Tony Gibson earlier this week, he said, we got to find a way to get some sort of passing game going. They are averaging just 108 yards through the air through the first 3 weeks of the season. That is 131st out of 136 FBS teams. And this play will be blown dead before the snap.
Offense, number 60. 5-yard penalty, remain second down.
That's Shunmarcus Adams, the starting left guard, the senior from Jasper, Texas. And when you talk about trying to generate a passing game, Coach Gibson knows that, hey, being one-dimensional, it's going to make it hard for them to win games, so they have to be able to throw the ball. Handoff on 2nd and long, and dicing through the middle of the field is Floyd Lacey. So now a very quick 3rd down for Marshall on the opening drive. 3rd down and 3. Del Rio Wilson to throw in the pocket, pushed out, brought down. Brandon Buckner with the sack. What a great job by Brandon Buckner. He had pressure
pressure, but you're taught as a DN, you never get too high past the quarterback, because once he starts to push up, you come back down and you get the sack just like that. And the Blue Raiders ranked 27th in the nation in tackle for losses with 7 per game, and they got one on the first drive. None bigger than that on third down.
The transfer from Oregon. Second game in a row with a sack, as this play will be blown dead as well, and already 2 penalties for Marshall. A team that was penalized 8 times in the win last week at home.
Yeah, this is definitely not how you want to start on the road with 2 penalties. They are drive killers, and you've seen it. Put them at a 2nd and 10, and anytime you're behind the sticks, you get a little bit predictable. You know you have to pass, even though you don't really want to, as a run-first offense in Marshall.
Nathan Totten back to punt. Raiders spring pressure. High spiraling kick. And fair catch was called for by Middlebrook, dropped it. But the play is still blown dead. He dropped it about the 30. And that's where Middle Tennessee will take over. So Middle Tennessee will take over. 13:01 to go here in the first quarter, and we mentioned it at the top of the broadcast, but Nick Vattiato is the gas pedal for this Middle Tennessee offense. He finally came alive in that fourth quarter against Nevada, but this team, they've got to start hot.
Yeah, you can't afford to go 3 quarters with 0 points and expect to win at the end of the game. They have to start fast and put points on the board in the first quarter.
Handoff on the first play is to Middlebrook. He bounces to the outside. A flag is down, coming from the back judge at about the 30-yard line, usually in the place of holding.
Holding, offense, number 82, 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
That's Hunter Tipton, one of the tight ends for Middle Tennessee. In the first couple of games, Middle Tennessee had cleaned up the penalties that had plagued them last season, but then last week, 7 penalties for 50 yards, including a couple crushing ones in the red zone.
You're right, and you just look at it. Now you're 1st and 20, and you're just going to try to just get out of here with a couple runs 9 times out of 10 unless you break one. But it's hard to have success when you continue to be behind the sticks if you're the Blue Raiders.
Vattiato to throw, far side. Najee Cox finds a little space and is brought down at the 35. So pickup of 10.
And that's a great pickup on first down, but just imagine if it was 1st and 10, now you already got a new set of downs. You're further down the field. If you're the Blue Raiders, you have to limit the penalties.
Cox has been Vattiato's favorite target so far this year. 15 catches, 180 yards. Vattiato works on 2nd and 5. Empty set. Quick pitter-patter of the feet goes right back to Cox. That ball up in the air and intercepted. Daquan Smith with his first career pick.
That's Daquan on the spot right there. Great coverage by the corner. Gets the pass deflection, and you're taught as a DB, you call an Oski when that ball is in the air, and that's what he did right there. Came up big for the Thundering Herder.
3rd interception this season for Vattiato, and the first of the career for Daquan Smith. And now Marshall has great field position here in the first quarter. Del Rio Wilson, handoff. Mike Allen getting the carry. Picks up about 6 on the first down run. And we talked about the quarterback carousel. Well, it's a real who's who in the running back room as well. 5 different backs typically will take handoffs. Just 4 probably here tonight with Joshawn Barbie out. Did not travel with the team due to an injury as Del Rio runs into Mike Allen, but still picks up enough ground for the first down.
And that was a great job by Del Rio Wilson right there. It was a busted play. It was supposed to be a RPO run action. Running back was supposed to go in front of Del Rio Wilson, but he ended up keeping it, getting a positive game right there. First down for the Thunder and Herd.
Del Rio Wilson, 7 of 9 throwing last week against Eastern Kentucky. Accounted for 3 touchdowns, including 2 through the air. It's also the team's leading rusher so far this season coming into this ball game. Middle showing some pressure. Handoff to Allen, though. Will get him to the 25, and now Marshall starting to do what they do, and that's pick up some chunk plays on the ground.
Yeah, when you think about it, as an offensive coordinator, Rod Smith, you know, hey, you're heavy on the run. So MTSU is coming in expecting to stop the run. So what do? You throw the first 2 passes. Now you're back to the run game.
And they work quickly. A strike over the middle to the tight end. That's Toby Payne. One of 2 returning starters from last year for this Marshall squad.
And that's when you see the running game working for you. Now you come back with a play action pass. You send your tight end right down the seam, and he's wide open, putting in first and goal.
Ball on the 6. Handoff. Allen charging towards the goal line. Brought down after a pickup of about 3. And this Marshall offense likes to work very, very quickly. Rod Smith in his first season as the OC spent some time the last few years as the offensive coordinator at Jacksonville State, where his offense has put up a lot of big numbers.
Yes, he's so familiar with the Conference USA, having a lot of success at Jacksonville State, like you said. So he knows the formula and how to find success in this conference or against this conference, and that's what you're seeing right now, having a lot of success.
Second down and goal from the 3. Del Rio Wilson on the keeper. Skips through a couple of tackles in the backfield before he's pushed back at the line of scrimmage.
Short game, led by Brandon Buckner. Fans, get on your feet. It's third down.
Zayon Simpson-Smith was the first Blue Raider to get there in the backfield. Kind of funnel him back upfield, but now a big 3rd and goal.
This is a huge down right here for the Blue Raiders defense. You had a turnover by the offense, but if you can hold them to a field goal right here, this is a win for the Blue Raiders if they can stop them right here.
Antoine Roberts, the kid from Nashville, in the backfield for the Thundering Herd. Throw over the middle to Payne. Touchdown. Toby Payne, the captain, with his first touchdown catch this season.
And you see the formula, run, play action pass, hit the tight end. They did it 2 times already on this drive, and they see what works against this Blue Raider defense. They're coming up on the run. They're focusing, stopping the run, but they're forgetting their keys and having bad eyes, and they fall for the play action pass when the tight end fakes block and then releases for a pass.
Lorcan Quinn, the Irishman, out for the extra point. And the 24-year-old freshman bangs it through. And Marshall, marching down the field after the interception from Vadiato, puts up the first points as a Blue Raider. Going 41 yards from Nick Vadiato. Vadiato's 2nd touchdown throw tonight. Jeremy, what a wild 2 minutes and 45 seconds of game time that we've had since we've resumed this game from the weather delay.
Man, very excited, man. I like points. I know I'm a DB, but, you know, when you talk about calling games, man, I like seeing points being scored. But if you're a D coordinator for Marshall or MTS, you are not happy with the fast scores here.
No, a lot of missed tackles, but we've also seen a lot of one-on-one coverage so far here tonight, so guys have only had to make one guy miss before they find that open space. So if you're a D coordinator, how do you change things up so you can get guys at least in front of opposing skill position players?
Well, you got to go a little bit more zone because you're putting your guys out on islands right now, and so you don't have all eyes looking at the quarterback, or even if you have a defender miss, when you're in zone, you're able to have other defenders be able to rally beyond. But sometimes the down and distance calls for men, so the players just got to make better plays.
End around, they go back to Floyd. Lacey slides out of another tackle. And there is no stopping Floyd Lacey tonight.
Floyd Lacey on the carry. Taken down by number 21, Abdul Muhammad.
I think on that play, Floyd Lacey was able to show us his power. We already know how fast he is, but just being able to drop a shoulder, run through 2 defenders from MTSU. What a great job by Lacey on that run.
Yeah, good size, 6'1", 210, former running back. at North Alabama, was the Lions' leading rusher a couple seasons ago. We've seen him catch passes. We've seen him take handoffs. And they go to the left side for Justin Williams-Thomas after the pickup of 32 from Floyd Lacey.
And Marshall, this is what they want right now. Right now, they are gashing the Blue Raiders defense. We know Blue Raiders gave up 203 yards last week, so you know Marshall, they're going to try to run the ball straight into the ground.
Williams-Thomas still in the backfield for Marshall. The Thundering Herd without Joshawn Barbie tonight, one of their leading rushers. But they've got a whole stable of backs that they can rely on here tonight. 2nd and 3. Del Rio Wilson keeps it, has the first down as he has dropped just shy of the
about the +1 to the run game right there. Del Rio Wilson number picks up the first down. You don't really like your quarterback to drop the throwing shoulder on any defender because that's how injuries tend to happen, but he's okay on that play.
But hey, if you're going to play quarterback in Rod Smith's offense, you got to be able to run and throw over the middle. Toby Payne again, the tight end. And Del Rio Wilson showing that he can flick it a little bit too.
Yes, and you're starting to see the rhythm when you talk about OC Rod Smith. They like to run it, run it, run it. Then they hit you with a play action, and they're throwing it down the seams to their tight ends. If you are an MTSU defender, you got to know once they have success a couple plays on the ground, they're coming back with the play action pass, and it's been to the tight end.
Marshall averaging 20 yards through the air per completion. They have 1st and 10 on the 10, but now, should say 1st and goal at the 10.
Offense, number 7. 5-yard penalty, remains 1st down.
That's Jalen Slappy, the preseason All-Sun Belt selection. One of 2 returning starters on this offense.
And as a defender, you're taught to take away something and run to something. And right now, the Blue Raiders defense, they haven't taken away anything. They're not taking away the pass. They're not taking away the run. And when you don't know or you can't stop it, it makes Coach Stewart and the defensive coordinator job much harder to call plays.
3rd penalty against the Herd here in the 1st quarter. Del Rio Wilson going to keep it on the right side. Slides inside the 10 is brought down by Juwan Gaston, who had a big performance last week against Nevada with a couple of picks.
Yeah, I think Del Rio Wilson might want this play back and just continue to go outside instead of trying to cut back. You lose your footing when you could have potentially broke a tackle right here, but great job by Gaston. Like you said, Conference USA Defensive Player of the Week this past week, so coming up big, saving a touchdown on that play.
Williams-Thomas in the backfield as Middle Tennessee will burn their first timeout of the first half.
This is their first charge.
With 2:40 to go here in the 1st quarter. And Jeremy, how about this Marshall offense? Exactly 200 yards of total offense in the 1st quarter.
And I think if you're Coach Gibson, you just know that each game you want to get better. And he talked about last week. He said that last week they stayed away from the pass. Yeah, they got up 31-0 in the first half last week, but he came in and said that, hey, we want to be better. We got to establish a passing game. And they are very balanced. And when you are a balanced offense where you can go call the run, call the pass, and be able to get first downs and move the ball down the field, you are a very dangerous offense. And I think that's what we're seeing so far out of Marshall and Coach Gibson.
Yeah, Coach Gibson telling us earlier this week the #1 priority this weekend is find some space for these guys on the outside. We've got to get wide receivers the ball. And so far, the favorite targets tonight, Toby Payne and Floyd Lacey, have made a big impact. Marshall averaging 11 yards per play here in the 1st quarter. 2nd and goal from the a flag is down. No signal has been made.
I think we might have a pick route.
It was hard to tell from this angle if Lacey actually came down with it or not. I don't believe he did, but there was no signal from the referees of whether or not it was an incomplete pass or not.
Foul for offensive pass interference.
So that's the second time that the officiating crew has picked up a flag. The first time it led to a Marshall touchdown to Floyd Lacey. As we get another look.
Yeah, that wasn't a pick route because the receiver didn't come into contact with the other DB that wasn't guarding him. So, you know, run pick routes in the red zone to be able to clear up your receivers.
3rd and goal for Marshall. Del Rio Wilson on the read, running out of time, flings it towards the end zone, but another flag is down, this time at the 5-yard line, as Reggie Johnson was all in the face of Carlos Del Rio Wilson.
Holding offense, number 25. Half the distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
Trentus Livingston said offense, but pointed towards the defense. So it's against Middle Tennessee.
After the penalty, it'll be first down and goal.
All right, so now it's first down and goal for the Herd at the 4-yard line.
And this is what Coach Mason talked about, right? Shooting yourself in the foot in the red zone, whether you're on offense, you're getting penalties. Here on defense, 3rd down stop, and you get a penalty. You give them a new set of downs.
Handoff up the middle, still churning his feet, is Justin Williams-Thomas.
The give to number 9, Justin Williams-Thomas.
Finally brought down after a pickup of about 1.
Gain of 1 brings up 2nd down.
And that was a great job by Muaz Bayer right there, scraping from his linebacker position, then filling the hole and holding on to the leg of Lacey.
So now 2nd down and goal from the 2. Williams-Thomas in the backfield. Read play. Williams-Thomas stuffed at the line. Parker Hughes, the leading tackler for Middle Tennessee, making the stop.
The stop is made by Parker
Phenomenal
Hughes.
job right there. Parker Hughes filling the gap right there. Not waiting, but driving down here. As you see, not waiting. Point of contact. Wrapping up. What a great play right there by Parker Hughes.
So now 3rd down and goal for Marshall. Del Rio Wilson on the keeper will score.
Number 7, Carlos Del Rio Wilson into the end zone for the Marshall touchdown.
And Carlos Del Rio Wilson, quarterback keeper, +1 to the run game. Everybody on defense is accounted for when you have the running back in the run game. It's almost an unstoppable play, and then he hit you. Oh, I thought he hit it with a Johnny Manziel. I thought it was a Shador at first. Maybe a Shador and Johnny Manziel at the same time. Either way, it's still 6 for Marshall.
Second rushing touchdown this season for Carlos Del Rio Wilson, and he has accounted for 6 touchdowns in the last 3 quarters. He really only played the first half last week against Eastern Kentucky. He's already accounted for 3 in the first quarter against Middle Tennessee, as it is a 21-14 ball game, and I think a lot of people, when they check the score on this one, are going to be pretty surprised at the crooked numbers that both these teams have put up so far here in the first quarter.
You're right. Both teams not scoring the ball a lot in these first 3 games, and then you come out here in the first quarter, 21 by Marshall, 14 by MTSU. So a lot of offense, not a lot of defense right now. But it is making for an exciting game, though.
21-14 Marshall. The Thundering Herd have put up 204 yards of total offense in 14 minutes of game time. Juwan Gaston will let that one roll out of the back of the end zone, and Middle will take over on their 25-yard line. And there's a look at the total plays since the weather delay. We had 7 plays that resulted in 21 points. And then a nice 9-play drive, 75 yards, chewing up some clock for the Thundering Herd to take a 7-point lead. Jaquale Middlebrook in the backfield for Middle Tennessee after Ricky Hunt Jr. took over running back duties on the last drive for Big Blue. They hand it to Middlebrook, patiently trying to find a hole, and will take it out for a 5-yard gain.
Gain of 5 on the play.
And keyword patience right there. Jaquale Middlebrook knew where the play was supposed to go, but gave his offensive line some time to work before he was able to cut it up in the hole. Nice pickup on first down for the Blue Raiders.
2nd and 5. They go right back to Middlebrook. The ball is on the turf. And Vadiato able to cover it.
That'll bring up 3rd down and 7.
That'll move the Blue Raiders back a couple of yards. But to your point about the patience of Jaquale Middlebrook, Derek Mason telling us at the beginning of the season that that's the biggest thing that he has improved this offseason was his ball carrier vision.
Yeah, because I think as a running back, you are so sometimes in a rush to get to where you're going, but certain plays on how they're designed, you have to allow the offensive guard and offensive tackles to be able to get up on their defender, allow them to work, and allow the gaps to be able to open, and then you accelerate. And that's what we did on Jaquale Middlebrook on that last play right there.
So that'll do it for the first quarter. About 3 hours too late, but fireworks galore. Just kicking things off here in the second quarter. Marshall leads 21-14. Looking for their first road win of the season. And looking to win back-to-back ball games before conference play starts next week. Handoff right side is Mike Allen. Picks up a few on first down. And Jeremy, we've been talking all night tonight about how impressive Marshall has been offensively. This is a team last week that ran the ball 70% of the time. They've had 11 different ball carriers in the game last week against Eastern Kentucky. This is a team that is relentless when it comes to running the ball, but they've been throwing the ball very, very nicely tonight. Quick screen, near side. Turner Bradshaw close to the first down. Just shy of the 45. And
I think we're seeing Marshall really show their versatility as an offense. Coach Gibson, he said last week they tried to stay away from the pass, and then you come out to this week and show so much balance.
Just 14 passing attempts last week in the win against Eastern Kentucky, but on the year, this is a team that averages 108 yards through the air so far. That is 131st in FBS. There's only 136 teams at the FBS level. But yeah, he just kind of admitted to it. He's like, yeah, we're running the ball last week. That's all we were doing. But he told us coming into this ball game, we have got to establish an air attack, and they have done that here tonight. That ball batted up in the air and somehow hit the turf. You can hear the thud all the way up here in the booth.
And man, you look at it, that's the break that really MTSU needed right now. Great job by Anthony Bynum. You might not get home, but you can affect the throw. He was able to hit the throwing arm of Del Rio Wilson on that play.
So now 3rd down and 7 for Del Rio Wilson. And now Middle will use their second timeout. That's the second time that Middle's had to burn a timeout on defense on a 3rd down play.
And it makes you wonder if the call is not getting in from upstairs or from the sideline to Parker Hughes or to the linebacker that's calling the signals in for the defense. But one, you don't want to waste timeouts on defense. You need them. But, you know, like you said, 2 times we've already seen them call timeouts. So that's something that the Blue Raiders really, I know, want to get corrected moving forward.
Let's look at Derek Mason in his 2nd year running the show for Middle Tennessee here in the Borough. Trying to get things trending in the right direction. Last week was a good start with come from behind win on the road at Nevada. But things got off to a really rough start this year. The season opener here in Murfreesboro. 20-point loss to FCS Austin Peay. Del Rio Wilson on 3rd down and 7 is sacked. Reggie Johnson got home to bring down Del Rio Wilson to force a 4th down.
And right there, that was a coverage sack right there. Del Rio Wilson had nowhere to go. You see it was empty, so he got to get the ball out, and he held it too long, tried to get out the back door. But MTSU all over it right there for the sack, and another tackle for loss for them on the season.
Loss of 2 on the sack for Reggie Johnson. His first full sack this year. Here comes the pressure. A nice punt. Pushes Middlebrook back to the 12. He will take it at the 20. Slides to a tackle. A nice little return to about the 29. But a flag is down at about the area where Middlebrook was finally tackled.
Illegal blocking the back, return team. Number 5. 10-yard penalty, be 1st and 10. Timeout.
That's Miles Butler, the wide receiver. That'll move Middle Tennessee back 10.
Community.
What do I love about Marvel? How much time do you have?
A 50-yard field goal from Jacob Hathaway. Pulls Middle Tennessee within 4, and that'll go to the back of the end zone. And Jacob Hathaway's girlfriend is from Huntington, Kelsey Huffman, and her parents are huge Marshall fans. But she's wearing his shirt today in support of him, and yeah, why not? Knocking through a career-high 50 yards on the field goal. The Welshman played soccer, rugby, tennis, golf, now football. Played a little soccer at West Virginia Tech before making his way over to Middle Tennessee, so a house divided. As Marshall takes over on the 25-yard line. Quick throw, far side. It's Turner. He's going to pick up a 1st down. First catch tonight.
And plays like this are like extended runs right here, right? It's not a traditional run, a quick now route. Get it to your receiver and allow them to make plays.
So a quick 1st down for the Herd on 1st down. Ball is at the 36. Del Rio Wilson, 8 of 10. 2 touchdowns. Very efficient here tonight. Option play, near side. Mike Allen steps out of bounds, but another nice pickup on 1st down by the Thundering Herd.
The old NCAA option right there.
That's right, hit LB.
Yeah, gotta hit it, man. You don't see that pitch anymore like that.
No,
man.
not a lot, not unless it's a service academy, but I love it. Bring it back. And why not? Rod Smith has had so much success with that style of running game the last few years at Jacksonville State. quick screen pass near side. Turner again. He's got the first down into Middle Tennessee territory. And here is the tempo that Tony Gibson told us about earlier this week that he wanted this offense to find here in week 4.
Because what happens when you keep going with the tempo, it's hard for MTSU to sub. They finally got a sub. After 3 plays, they were able to do a sub, but they had 2 first downs in the last 3 plays, so very efficient for Marshall and Coach Smith and his offense.
4th play of the drive. Del Rio Wilson to throw. Has a clean pocket. Has a man at the 30. And called a catch. Xavier Turner Bradshaw. Another first down for Marshall.
And when you look at, I think Coach Stewart, the D coordinator, just really doesn't know what to do. If you go man, your DBs are getting beat across the face. They can't stop the run. Just a tough time right now for the Blue Raiders.
So the video review booth will take another gander at it. So as it stands right now, it's 17 yards from Del Rio Wilson to Turner Bradshaw. Sorry, a lot of hyphenated names on this Marshall roster. Making me double check my notes every time I look down to make sure I've got the right hyphenated name. And from that angle, which great job by our camera crew in the truck to catch that. It's going to be tough to overturn unless that right there is the turf that's catching.
Yeah, it looks like hands underneath, open, gloves up. I know, like in the NFL, and I'm assuming the same rules, the ball can touch the ground a little bit.
Yep.
As long as they can see clear hands under. The only thing on this, and I can't see the nose of the ball hitting the ground.
First and 10.
So there you have it. It's a 17-yard strike. To Xavier Turner Bradshaw, son of Marshall great and 2-time Super Bowl champion Ahmad Bradshaw. And Marshall moving the ball right down the field at will against this Middle Tennessee defense here in the 2nd quarter.
Yes, Marshall, I don't think they have ran a play that they did not like or did not have success with.
Allen in the backfield for the Thundering Herd. First down, here comes the blitz from Parker Hughes. Allen goes opposite side and picks up a handful on first down.
And I think the mindset of the Blue Raiders coming to the game is like, hey, let's make them pass. Let's stop the run. Let's be able to control the run game and force Marshall to pass. But you're forcing them to pass, and they're having even more success in the passing game than ever before thus far this season.
Del Rio Wilson. Pitch hit the turf, and it's a turnover. Bad timing with Turner Bradshaw, and it's a turnover. And oh man, that's gotta hurt. Marshall was having their way with Middle Tennessee's defense.
And great job by Simpson Smith right there being able to jump on the ball. But if you're Marshall, why? Why do you try to get trickery in that way? You're beating MTSU up and down the field, running traditional plays, traditional handoffs, traditional play calls, and then you try to get trickery, and now you can give the momentum back to MTSU if they're able to drive down here and get some points.
So let's see what Middle can do with 6:43 to go after the turnover. First turnover tonight. Low snap, Vadiato, far sideline. A.J. Jones, another catch. One more time at the fumble, and you know, I said bad timing and as the play was developing, but it just kind of seems like
because the the pitch, because you're going underhand, so your natural wrist is going to make the ball go higher instead of just doing a traditional handoff like a reverse.
Like they drew it up in the dirt. 2nd down and 7. Vadiato, quick throw across the middle. Najee Cox again. And man, what a weapon Cox has turned into for this Middle Tennessee offense.
Yes, I'm calling that play every series. Either a dig or post a slant. Cox has been open every time they called the route where he has to beat the defender across his face. He has won, so why not keep going back to him on similar routes?
Middlebrook in the backfield with Vadiato, 3 to the near side. Vadiato on the keep up the middle. And that's something that Derek Mason told us to keep an eye on this week, is he wants to get Vadiato involved in the run game, call his number 5, 6 times. He's got to teach him how to slide.
Yeah, I know. He said that Nick showed him a video on YouTube University, basically, about quarterbacks sliding and how they get hit and kind of their heads hit the turf. So I understand why he's hesitant on sliding, but I know Coach Mason just still prefers him to slide.
Second down and 3, Vadiato, deep drop, looking for Cox again, and another 1st down, as Marvay Myers, the former Blue Raider, was there to push him out of bounds. And now Middle Tennessee starting to impose their will on offense.
And once again, back to Cox. They have him running a route where he has to beat the defender across the face. Dig route, post route, slant route. He has been open every time on those plays. He's coming out right now, but hey, you got to get back in because he got the hot hand.
More than 500 yards of total offense in this ball game. And we still have 4.5 minutes to go before the half. That is shocking. 1st down and 10 on the 28. Vadiato had it beat down at the line of scrimmage, and he's chasing after it like he lost a fumble, but they're going to wave it off as an incomplete pass.
The pass on the field is an incomplete pass. 2nd down.
And like I was telling you during the break, man, my high school, Antioch High School, Dre Adams has 740-something total yards in one game. So we might be on track for that, man.
As I say, you want to talk about video game numbers? My goodness.
Yeah, that's what I told Coach Broom. I said, man,
had it on rookie mode last night, huh?
Hey, NCAA numbers, road to glory right there.
That's right.
Road to glory.
That's right. Turn the wear and tear off. 2nd down and 10. Vadiato, pump fake, long shot towards the end zone, and nobody home. Was looking for Cox again. And there is a flag down at about the 26-yard line.
Number 72. 10-yard penalty on the previous spot. Replay, 2nd down.
That's Jacob Otts, starting left tackle, the graduate.
And I know we don't get this full play, but I spoke to Marvay Myers, former MTSU player, and he said, man, I know they're going to attack me with double moves. And they tried to get him on a double move right there, and he ran stride for stride with Cox. So it's just a great play by Marvay right there, knowing how his former team was going to attack him and being able to make the play.
And now a captain on this defense for Marshall. Vadiato on the read, checking down to the tight end. That's Hunter Tipton with his 7th catch this season. Getting a chunk of yards back. So a reset of the game clock for 3rd down and 8 for Middle. Middle has had some success through the air here in the first half, 184 yards passing. Been averaging 188 through the first 3 games so far this season. So a nice night here in the first half for Vadiato, who is 10 of 15 with a couple of touchdowns. 7th play of the drive, 3rd down and 8. Here comes the pressure. Vadiato stepping up, getting rid of it, and staying on his feet is Middlebrook. How did he slide out of that? Marvay Myers had him in his grasp, and then somehow Middlebrook fought through it.
Yes, Mr. I'm not going down, Jaquel Middlebrook. No gloves out there, looking old school, running hard. And that's a big play right there, because if you're in the Blue Raiders, you don't want to settle for another field goal. You're trying to take this lead and get it into pay dirt. And Jaquel Middlebrook says, put it on me. I'm trying to get us there.
Derek Mason says Jaquel Middlebrook, every time he steps on the field, he is flat out the best player on the field, and he is acting like it tonight. They go right back to him, up the middle, has room, lowers the shoulder, brought down at the 3, but another flag. This time it's in the Middle Tennessee backfield.
Offense, number 42. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
Evan Potiker, the tight end, the H-back. And the penalties starting to pile up for Middle Tennessee here in the first half, and each one has been a backbreaker.
Yes, you're in the red zone. You just had a big play, first down, and you get a holding penalty. Now you're behind the sticks, 1st and 20. And so this is what Coach Mason is.
In the win against Nevada, had a turnover on downs, penalties. Butler out of the backfield trying to pick up some lost yardage. Takes it to the far sideline, gets it back close to the original line of scrimmage.
And when you look at that play, that's a great pickup, 7-8 yards. But when you're 1st and 20, you're still behind the sticks.
And that'll take us to the 2-minute timeout. Middle Tennessee on the march on a 8-play, 42-yard drive, knocking on the door, trying to take the lead here at home.
You'll always win.
Second down and 14. Middle has the ball on the 17-yard line. There's the numbers for Nick Vadiato, and to finish it, 12 of 17, over 200 yards for the first time, for the second time this season. Trying to get his team into pay dirt to take the lead after the fumble gave them possession a few moments ago. Vadiato under center. Butler to throw. Tonight as Darrell Sweeting.
But the thing is,
I know it's hard to explain.
I was trying to let him finish his thought out there. But you run trick plays off of success.
Yeah.
Right? And MTSU's offense has not had that much success driving the ball to where it's like, oh, we set this play up. Like, if you're going to throw the ball, just let Nick Vadiato, your quarterback, throw the ball in this place. You haven't set that play up to where you throw it to the receiver for them to throw it down the field.
That's the second time we've seen a receiver attempt a pass tonight for Middle Tennessee in this quarter. I think it happened, last drive, right?
And Nick's having a good passing game. He got 200 yards already. So I just...
Sometimes coaches, they get into their own bag a little bit too much, overthink it.
Yeah, I do too. Right? I try to drop the plays and flag. We run a reverse, and it's like,
that's with 6-year-olds.
I know. I know. The concept.
I mean, I do it on College Football 26.
Well, hey.
Running jet sweeps left and right.
For sure.
So now it's 3rd down and 22, 1:52 to go. Vadiato checking down out of the backfield. Ricky Hunt Jr. gets to the 20. And so that'll set up a 37-yard attempt. And man, this just feels like a missed opportunity for Middle Tennessee. Another red zone opportunity that's going to turn into a longer field goal attempt.
Timeout. This is the second timeout. The first half.
This is definitely a win for Marshall.
Yeah.
If they force this kick or if MTSU decides, because at the end of the day, they've been down this side of the field this a lot in the second quarter, and you're still going to be behind on the scoreboard. And so you just realize how important it is when you get to the red zone, you got to get touchdowns, especially if you're going to win a conference championship. Field goals don't win conference championships.
No, and that's the goal for both of these teams, is to play that 13th game that first week of December. So Jacob Hathaway already made one from 50 earlier tonight. This one from 37. The kick. And Hathaway 2 for 2 on the night, but Middle Tennessee still trails by 1 after a 10-play, 45-yard drive. An 11-play, 45-yard drive takes 5:06 off the clock, but it's a bittersweet drive for Middle Tennessee.
It is a bittersweet when you know that you didn't really give yourself a chance to get the ball in the end zone. And first down, first and goal, you get a penalty. Now you're behind the sticks, 1st and 20. Then you try a trick play that was a disaster as far as the executing the play. So it's just like, hey, yeah, you got the 3 points and you're great, but you've been out here twice and only got 6 points, and you're still behind on the scoreboard. So I know Coach Mason, he just knows that, man, they have to do better in the red zone, and that's what he's talked about this whole week when we got the chance to speak with him.
Xavier Turner Bradshaw awaits the kick. And Ashton Logan has another touchback. And so Marshall takes over, 1:37 to go on the 25-yard line. But hey, as we've seen, this Marshall offense does really well with tempo.
They do really well with tempo, and I think just the playbook is wide open for Coach Smith. When you talk about you have timeouts, you're able to have success in the air and on the ground. So I don't think anything is off limits for Coach Smith and his Marshall offense on this drive.
First down, handoff, not a lot of room. And with only one timeout remaining, Marshall content to hand the ball off to Justin Williams-Thomas. Remember, Middle Tennessee deferred, and so they will get the ball to start the second half. Throw over the middle, almost intercepted. A dangerous throw from Del Rio Wilson right into the hands of Jawan Gaston, who had 2 picks a week ago. And now my question is, why are you throwing deep downfield on second down if you run on first down with only one timeout?
Yeah, I think, like, to your point, how you go about the rest of the drive depends on your success on first down, right? And so, like you said, hey, run the ball, take some time off the clock, because now, if it's you 9 times out of 10, you're going to get the ball back.
Yeah, 3rd down and 8. And here's another set. No! Slides out of it. Del Rio Wilson still going, and wisely hits the deck at about the 22-yard line. The tackling, or lack thereof, tonight has just been something to behold.
And it's almost like, instead of bringing them to the ground, they're trying to slam to the ground. And these players lift weights, right? They're strong and they're just not going to fall to the ground. But guess what's coming into play right now? Not having timeouts. The timeouts that they burn is costing the Blue Raiders right here on a possession where they would have liked to get 3.
Yeah, Shakai Woods looked like he was getting ready to throw a suplex on Carlos Del Rio Wilson. So now Marshall will use their final timeout with 14 seconds left. Middle has none. So in this situation, if you're Marshall special teams, are we punting it out of bounds? Are we giving Jaquel Middlebrook any opportunity to return this punt, knowing how dangerous he has been in this first half?
I think you definitely are going to, you're probably going to try to directional punt it, maybe not straight to him, but you want it to be in bounds, because you want some time to be able, him to have to recover it, some time to be able to run off the clock, because you don't want to go straight out of bounds, and then they got a Hail Mary type thing. So, but like you said, he is a weapon back there. So you don't just want to kick it directly to him, and you definitely don't want it to be on the line drive.
Totten, the lefty, sends it towards Middle Tennessee's sideline, takes a nice Marshall bounce, and that'll roll off about 13 seconds. Might be 1 second left on the clock. Nope. So that punt took 14 seconds and takes us to the break. And despite the 2.5-hour delay, an unbelievably exciting first half, especially if you like offense.
Man, we getting our money's worth right there. They knew, man, they had to come out and play amazing after 2-hour delay, man, and that's what they did. I think we got a great second half in store for us, man. A lot of points ahead.
More than 530 yards of total offense in the first half between a couple of teams that don't score a whole lot, at least so far this year, but trends are made to be broken here tonight in Murfreesboro, as we will step aside. It will be an abbreviated halftime, 16 minutes, but we are waiting actually for Justin Beasley to catch up. And let's send it down to JB.
Coach, observations from that first half?
Yeah, defensively right now we're playing horrible. We're playing soft in covers. We're not tackling well, just shooting ourselves in the foot. Offensively, we got some momentum, and then bad turnover by us. That was not very smart on our part with that play call. So we'll get that stuff fixed at the half, and we're in a battle. We got 30 more minutes.
And we'll be breaking down the first half here at the break. Marshall on top by 1 on the road against Middle. Halftime here in Middle Tennessee. A little bit later than we originally planned. A 2.5-hour weather delay interrupted this game at the beginning of the, well, halfway through the first quarter, right after Marshall took a 7-0 lead. He's Jeremy Kellum. I'm Jake Rose. Marshall leads by 1, 21-20 here on the road at Middle Tennessee's homecoming. And Jeremy, a little bit of everything in that first half. A lot of explosive plays, touchdowns, fumbles, interceptions, questionable play calls, questionable timeouts. Just, whew, where do we start?
Man, I think we start with Marshall. The versatility of their offense. They came into the game being known as a running team, but came out throwing on the opening drive. We seen do what they want offense. Being able to throw efficiently, run effectively, and be able to put points on the board. And then it got a little too fancy and try to do a trickery play, allow the Blue Raiders to get some momentum. And then we look at the Blue Raiders doing kind of the same thing, explosive plays, but then questionable play calls, and then the penalties, shooting themselves in the foot, and then just putting them behind on the scoreboard right now by 1 point.
Yeah, over 530 yards of total offense so far in this game, and this is between these two teams averaging less than 20 points per contest coming into this game. So I think a lot of people, when they're checking the scores on their phone, if they're watching at home tonight, they're like, what is going on in Murfreesboro here tonight? But it has been really, really fun and an entertaining ball game here tonight, as our first half stats are brought to you by Murfreesboro Medical Clinic. Play hard, stay healthy with Murfreesboro Medical Clinic, the official medical group of MTSU Athletics. And Jeremy, both quarterbacks actually playing very, very well tonight. Carlos Del Rio Wilson, 10 of 13, 167 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then Nick Vadiato, 13 of 18, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception, which may or may not have been his fault. Bad timing on a pop-up there, but both quarterbacks playing very well.
Yeah, when you look at the Blue Raiders, this is the Nick Vadiato they know, right? You think about last game against Nevada, not scoring in the first 3 quarters, but finishing strong. But he has came out and played a great first half. So if you're the Blue Raiders, you just want to see him continue to dominate out there, but now get the ball in pay dirt as a, collectively as a whole entire offense. And then if you're Marshall, you're excited because you know you can run the ball. And now you see that, hey, we have a passing game as well. So I think that they're going to have a lot of success in the Sun Belt Conference.
We're going to step aside for one more break. When we come back, we'll have more from halftime. All right, and then
there's a line that links.
Welcome back to halftime here at Floyd Stadium. The Band of Blue getting after it. With Jeremy Kellum, I'm Jake Rose. About 5.5 minutes until second half kickoff as we take a look at our keys to the second half. And Jeremy, let's start with the Thundering Herd. What you got in mind for them?
When you look at Marshall and you think about them, they're playing a great game, but they have to just do what they do. They started to get too trickery, starting to try to run trick plays, reverses, and it cost them. But just run the ball and throw the ball off of play action. That's their success. They run, then they hit you over the top with a tight end seam right down the field, and they got to limit the mistakes like they did on the botch handoff out there during the second quarter, costing them an opportunity to get a touchdown. So I just think just doing what you do, limiting mistakes, and I think Marshall will be very good this second half.
And if you're Middle Tennessee, you might be kicking yourself a little bit for that last drive that ended in a field goal. What do you want to see from Middle in the second?
Well, Middle Tennessee, they just have to make sure that they cut out the penalties. They got in the red zone first down in the red zone, and they got a penalty, and it took them out of the red zone. And then you have to take away something. And what I mean by that, you either got to take about the run or you have to take the pass away. But right now, Marshall is having success in the run and the pass, and it's very, very hard for a defensive coordinator to call plays when they're not having success at anything. And so that's what I think the Blue Raiders need to do. They have to take away the pass or the run, and then rally around the opposite, though. But right now, Marshall is able to run with great success, and they're throwing with even more success.
252 total yards for the Thundering Herd in the first half. Middle Tennessee, 282 total yards in the first two quarters, and Middle Tennessee will receive the kickoff to start the third quarter coming up on the other side of the break. Stay with us on ESPN. Welcome back to the start of the second half here in the Borough. Middle will receive the second half, trailing by 1 on their own home turf. Both teams trying to make it 2 wins in a row after starting 0-2. Conference play starts for both next week. On the road, Marshall at Louisiana, Middle Tennessee against Kennesaw State, one of the newer members of Conference USA, joining last year. As Lorcan Quinn is set to boot it away for the Thundering Herd. Juwan Gaston and DJ Taylor back for Middle Tennessee. And Quinn sends it to the back of the end zone, and so Middle starts on their own 25-yard line. A very impressive first half for Middle Tennessee on offense. 282 total yards, 208 of those coming through the air. 74 yards on the ground, but 72 of those came from one run from Jaquale Middlebrook in the first quarter.
Yeah, I think that if you're MTSU, you definitely want to have more success in the run game. You have the big plays in the run game, but you want to be able to establish the run consistently, because that opens up the play action pass, because you're going to have safeties, you're going to have linebackers starting to try to cheat up to stop the run, and then that's when you can hit them over the top. But we'll see if the Blue Raiders are able to establish that consistency in the run game, starting with this drive.
Vadiato taking a shot on first down and just overthrowing Amarion Walker, who he connected with on a touchdown back in the first quarter. Walker had a step.
Yes, he did have a step. I believe Vadiato wished he could get that one back and put a little bit more air up under that one to allow him to be able to run up under the ball. But 2nd and 10 now for the Raiders, man.
Middlebrook up the middle, picks up about 4. And let's check in with Justin Beasley.
Hey guys, got a chance to talk with the head coach Derek Mason after halftime. He said 2 things they're really focusing on in this second half: get off the field on 3rd down on defense, Marshall converting 50% of those, and also score while you're in the red zone, get in the end zone. You could tell there's some frustration there with how the first half ended. Jake, back to you.
Yeah, that's something that he really harped to us in our meeting in the middle of the week, and we've seen it come to fruition here tonight as well. 3rd down and 6. Marshall backs out of the blitz. Butler across the middle, picks up the first down, still going, and brought down at the 41-42 line. Now, we knew this Marshall defense coming in to this game likes to bring a lot of pressure, but Middle Tennessee's offensive line, which has struggled early this year, has done a fairly nice job of keeping up.
Yeah, we don't really see too many QB hits so far this game, and the offensive line has given Vadiato a lot of protection, and I think that speaks to the type of numbers that he's had in the first half. And that was a great play design by Coach Reeder right there, too, on that last play.
Vadiato out of the pocket, checking down to the tight end. Hunter tipped in, but a flag is down in the secondary. Had a couple flags picked up tonight, as this flag has started some discussion as well.
Defense, number 3. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic. First down.
That's the former Blue Raider and current Thundering Herd captain Marvay Myers giving his former team a first down.
And that's the break that the Blue Raiders might need right there. They're moving the ball, but then being able to get some free yardage on a penalty by Marshall is something that also boosts your offense.
So Middle just on the other side of the 50 in Marshall territory. First down and 10. And Hunter Tipton gives 5 right back. Picked up 7 on the catch on the previous play. Hey, he had good form coming out of his stance at least.
Yeah, he did, but I know Coach Mason over there is hot right now. Putting them behind the sticks.
Toss play, left side. And Middlebrook, not a whole lot of room on that far side. And making the stop, Boogie Trotter.
And that was a little old school play, a little toss sweep right there.
Yeah, we've seen the triple option tonight. We've seen quarterbacks under center, which is very rare in this day and age in college football, especially between these two teams.
And that was a great job, Boogie Trotter coming up there, chopping out the legs on Jaquel Middlebrook.
Trotter, the transfer from Tennessee State from right here in Nashville, or just up the road in Nashville, I should say. Second down, 15. Middlebrook again testing out that left side. This time he has room and knocked out a few yards shy of the first down, but another nice pickup by Jaquel Middlebrook. And now we're starting to see why Derek Mason was so hyped about this running back.
Oh, for real, like you just see his explosiveness, you see his toughness. We seen him on the first run in the game, break tackles and have the distance to go for a 70-yard run. So you just see how versatile he is as a running back, and he catches out the backfield. He's really a 3-down back, something that we don't see as much, especially on the college level.
And that run gives him a new career high, 89 yards on the ground on just 6 carries. Of course, he had that huge run to set up Middle Tennessee's first touchdown back in the first quarter of 72 yards. Thadiato, head fake, and he's brought down. Well behind the line of scrimmage, Cam Smith, the safety, coming up from the blitz.
And that was definitely a coverage sack right there, because when you see Cam Smith was kind of the spot. The delay, not attack, right? And so Nick Badiato, he got to get rid of that, because it was a coverage sack. Nothing's downfield, and now you find yourself outside of the pocket still trying to buy time, and then you end up taking a sack. But great job by Cam Smith, because he was a spy. And as a spy, you track the quarterback, and then once they settle their feet, you come downhill, and that's what Cam Smith did.
Ashton Logan out to punt. Short punt, taking a Middle Tennessee bounce well inside the 20, and that's going to roll right to the 1-yard line. A brilliant punt and punt coverage from Middle Tennessee's special teams. Long way to go for the Herd coming up on the other side of the break. Take a look at what's going on around Conference USA. James Madison all over Liberty. It's kind of ironic when you think about it a little bit. James Madison, Liberty, father of the Constitution, whatnot. Missouri State hanging up 42 points. Quick pass, far sideline. Amarion Walker, a lot of room. And a huge pickup, another explosive play from this Middle Tennessee offense.
Yes, and another explosive play by Walker. He's electric in space. You just get it to him and let him do the rest of the work. And this is what you see. Little eye candy, little play action, RPO, but getting it right to Walker. And Walker knows exactly what to do.
Pickup of 26. Second catch for Walker tonight, 67 yards and a touchdown. Middle, a tight formation. And Ricky Hunt, well, pick up a few on first down. But those are the kind of positive plays that you want to see on first down, even if it's just a couple yards, a few yards, because that'll set up a lot more options for second down.
Yes, it does. Like now you're talking about a 2nd and 6. You feel a little bit more comfortable maybe. Hey, we can throw the ball. Or maybe run again, get 2 or 3 more yards. Now you got a 3rd and 3. And now your whole playbook is open, opposed to a 2nd and 9 or 2nd and 10.
Middle, 33 plays, averaging just under 10 yards per play. Thadiato with time, taking a shot towards the end zone. And a flag is down as Marvay Myers and Najee Cox were going at it.
There is a penalty flag on the play.
Myers knocked it away. Actually,
Pass
that's
interference. Defense, number 3. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic, first down.
it's actually Amarion Walker, the receiver.
Yeah, former DB, tough play.
Cox.
I can see why they got him on the PI right there. It was the right arm as Cox is trying to elevate up. The right arm is kind of holding Cox down. So you got to call that play right there, that penalty.
6th penalty against Marshall. Fatiato on first down, and another miscommunication. This time was looking for Kason Stokes, the redshirt freshman transfer from UCF.
And I think I can kind of see the philosophy. It's like, hey, we're down here. We got maybe a down to waist potentially, but I still think you run the ball right there and get maybe 3, 4 yards and set yourself up a little bit better than the 2nd and 10, though.
2nd and 10 from the 26. Butler in motion now in the backfield. Fatiato, Middlebrook out of the backfield, still going inside the 5. And a nice misdirection called there from Bodie Reeder, the offensive coordinator.
Yes, he did. Great dial-up right here. Got a running back seeming like he's just running a play fake, but he's coming out the backfield for a wheel, and that's what we talk about. Jaquel Middlebrook, a 3-down back. He can block, he can run for pass, run the ball. Hey, caught the ball right there for a first down.
And how about the throw from Fatiato, just getting it over the outstretched paw of Jabril Alameen, the linebacker for Marshall.
That's the touch you learn from the Manning camp.
1st and goal from the 3. Fatiato on the keep at the goal line, pushing forward, touchdown. Middle in front for the first time tonight.
And that has to be the best drive of the game for the Blue Raiders. The RPO lead blocker from Jaquel Middlebrook. And Nick Fatiato gets in the end zone.
And you saw Derek Mason put up the 2. Offense stays on the field for the 2-point conversion. Try to make this a 7-point game.
Yeah, extra point doesn't help you right here.
Yeah. And now middle. Oh, Derek Mason. Not happy with the officiating crew, was asking for the timeout. And he is hot. So Middle will use a timeout. As he's talking it over with the referee, Trennis Livingston. So we're showing that Middle has been charged a timeout, but that has not changed in the official scorebook yet. And it's not showing on the video board here. But here we go for the 2-point conversion. Fatiato in the gun to throw. Here comes the blitz across the middle, caught. Hunter Tipton makes it a 7-point game for Middle, as the Blue Raiders lead for the first time this evening.
And man, Nick Fatiato took a shot right there. He stared it right down the...
Second down and goal from the 4-yard line. Carlos Del Rio Wilson to throw. In the flat, has his tight end. Touchdown, Toby Payne. Second touchdown tonight for the kid from Poco, West Virginia.
And great job by the Thundering Herd being able to capitalize on the Blue Raider mistakes and getting the pay dirt. Extra point away from tying this game.
Just an absolutely crushing personal foul penalty against Middle Tennessee on the punt that would have buried the Thundering Herd. So now Lorcan Quinn out to add the extra point. I guess we're just double checking to make sure that Toby Payne broke the plane with the ball. And here we go. For the tie. Quinn up and good. So 12 plays, 65 yards, 6 minutes exactly. And the Thundering Herd have tied this game up at 28 apiece. And we've got a heck of a ball game here late into the Tennessee Saturday night here in Murfreesboro. A game that was interrupted for 2.5 hours almost by a pretty nasty rainstorm that swept through right after Marshall scored their first touchdown about halfway through the first quarter. And then after that, these two teams trading blows back and forth over the course of about 7 plays. We had 21 points. And then things started to slow down a little bit. Game started to find its rhythm late in the second quarter, and now here we are tied at 28. Juwan Gaston deep for Middle Tennessee. As Quinn will send it away. And Gaston lets it bounce. And Middle will start at the 25-yard line. All right, so if you're Middle Tennessee, you just have this backslide of a penalty that essentially ties this game up at 28. How do you respond on offense?
I think you just go back to what was working that last drive. You got to be able to establish the run on first downs, to be able to shorten your second and third down, and be able to open up your playbook, and then being able to run play action or RPOs off of the success of the run game.
1st and 10, low snap. Middlebrook trying to slide through that front line, just gets wrapped up. Cam Smith finally brought him down. And Braden Ward looks like he's shaken up for the Herd.
That's a snap. 5-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
10th penalty tonight for Middle Tennessee.
And last year they were #1 in Conference USA. And then you looked at the first 2 games, it wasn't as bad, but they're starting to trend towards being at the top of the conference. And if you want to lead the conference in any category, it is not penalties, because it makes it so hard to win. And we see that for the Blue Raiders.
Yeah, penalties cost points at a certain point. And Middle Tennessee moving backwards on first down. Now 1st down and 15. We still have yet to see Marshall's defense bring too much heat. Battiato on the check down, and the pass is dropped. Tavion Galloway, the backup tight end, couldn't hang on to it. So now 2nd down and 15. Middle Tennessee behind the sticks here in the 4th quarter. Tight set for Middle Tennessee. Vadiato throwing far side. Najee Cox will pick up a handful. So now third down and manageable here.
Yeah, and that was a good throw by Nick Vadiato. Deep out route, which as a DB, that's a great opportunity to try to get a pick six on a deep out route from the opposite hash. But man, Nick Vadiato has a live, strong arm, and he's able to get there. And you see that a lot in Coach Breeder's offensive plays.
See on the far sideline, if our camera just would miss it, we've got the placards for Marshall to give the defensive signals. As Vadiato underneath Middlebrook, flag is down. Middlebrook has the first down, but we'll have to check the flag. But saw a sign over there that said Danger Dojo. One of the calls for
72, offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Third down.
That's Jacob Otts, the transfer from Rhode Island, but th penalty tonight for Middle Tennessee. So third down, 18. Vadiato to throw. Here comes the pressure across the middle. And he hit Rio Wilson hooking up with DeAndre Tamarez after 7 plays, 56 yards. And 3 minutes and 5 seconds on the touchdown drive, giving the Thundering Herd a 7-point lead. And Del Rio Wilson was a highly recruited 4-star recruit coming out of Cartersville High School in Atlanta. Top 20 quarterback in the class of 2021. Originally committed to Florida. Was there for a year, transferred to Syracuse for 3 years. Only played in 14 games. As Gaston is going to return this deep in the end zone. Has a little room. Flag coming in as he's brought down at about the 26, 27. But Del Rio Wilson transferring into Marshall was named the starter coming into the summer. Out of spring ball, he was going to be the starter for this squad.
Doing the return, number 47. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First and 10.
And that's at least the 4th or 5th penalty just on special teams for Middle Tennessee. But back to Del Rio Wilson. Florida, 3 years at Syracuse. Played quite a bit, 14 games. Started a couple for the Orange. And found a home here at Marshall. And as I said, in the summertime, they were thinking, hey, this is going to be our guy. Got beat out in fall camp by Ja'Kai Long. Like flat out, Ja'Kai Long dominated in fall camp, earned the starting job. And it's been a quarterback carousel since. Del Rio Wilson started last week, led his squad to a win, and he's been excellent here tonight as well. Vadiato looking downfield, middle looking for a flag. Not going to get it. Was looking for Evan Potiker, the tight end, who doesn't have a catch all season. And Cam Smith in on the coverage. Might have just beat him to the spot.
Yeah, he got away with a little tug on that back shoulder, but sometimes depending on where the ref is standing, they'll never see it. And so he got away with it, but great job. Great play by Cam Smith with the seatbelt action at the end.
All about the seatbelt. 2nd and 10. Vadiato over the middle. And here comes the flag as he was looking for Amarion Walker. And now Marshall's upset about the flag.
And so on this one, I don't think Marvay was as fortunate.
As there's a shaken up Thundering Herd on the turf. That's Cannon Lewis.
Defense, number 3. Spot foul with the automatic first down.
That's another
timeout.
defensive pass interference against Marvay Myers, making his return to Floyd Stadium as Cannon Lewis being helped off the turf, not putting any pressure on that right leg. And Cannon Lewis, one of the kids that is from West Virginia, about 15 miles away from Marshall's campus in Huntington, originally committed to North Carolina State, where he played under head coach Tony Gibson. He's being helped to the sideline, and we will step aside with just under 10 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter. Marshall on top on the road by 7. First down and 10 for Middle Tennessee on about the 22-yard line after the penalty. 12 penalties, 111 yards for Middle Tennessee tonight. End around, going nowhere. Snuffed out perfectly. Javay Gilmore, the transfer from Mississippi State. And Cam Lacey had nowhere to go.
Great job by Gilmore on that. Being able to keep outside leverage. And get a tackle for loss right there for the Thundering Herd.
Middle Tennessee's offense has been going backwards the last few drives. Now second down and 15. Vadiato to throw away from the blitz. And the pressure disrupting the timing. Nowhere to go with the throw anyway.
And we talked about it early in the game. It was like, hey, we don't really see the pressure getting home or affecting Vadiato, but we're starting to see that now. In this fourth quarter, even though the throws where it's supposed to be touch throws, he's having to drill it or get it out fast because the pressure is already in his face. He's not able to play with timing right now.
Third down, 15. Three-man rush. Vadiato stepping up. Vadiato going down.
And they get home right here. And that was just a four-man rush right there. No extra blitzes. Man versus man right there up front.
And that's Jamal Weiss, the big nose tackle, the transfer from South Carolina, from your neck of the woods down in Miami. Big number 99, 6'4", 305, and he was all force on that play as this high punt is going to be fair caught by Floyd Lacey. And so now Middle's defense has got to get a stop.
You got to get a stop. You can't afford to even give up a field goal at this point in time.
Yeah. Middle's offense has totally stalled out here in the fourth quarter. The last few drives for Middle Tennessee, last two drives, 7 plays, -4 yards. And they've only taken about 3 minutes off the clock total. First down, Mike Allen, nowhere to go. Good push up front by that Middle Tennessee front line.
That was a great job right there by the front four, being able to be stout. DeVonta Smith once again coming up big, beating this man at the line of scrimmage.
Second down and 9 for Carlos Del Rio Wilson, a career-high 4 passing touchdowns tonight. Empty set, now Allen in motion. Allen's got it. Slips to the outside, still on his feet, still going, finally brought down, and a lot of running just to get back to the line of scrimmage. And that's Abdul Muhammad making the stop from the quarterback spot.
And that was a great job by Abdul Muhammad right there, coming up and ensuring the tackle right there, setting up a 3rd and long. And if you're the Blue Raiders, this is what you want Del Rio to be in right now. A 3rd and long, predictable passing down 9 times out of 10. And so now Coach Stewart can call a little pass defense right here. Might send a little pressure, a little fire zone, pressure with a little zone behind it.
Middle's recorded 3 sacks tonight. Can they put pressure on Del Rio Wilson here? 3rd and 9. Here it comes. Del Rio Wilson taking a shot on that far sideline. And caught. And guess who? Floyd Lacey. Huge throw and catch. Del Rio Wilson to Lacey, and Marshall working quickly as we are going to get a review as we take another look. Actually, Middle's going to take a timeout.
Previous play is on the video review. Timeout.
So Derek Mason takes a timeout, but we are also getting a review. I think Mr. Lacey got the 2-toe tap.
Tony toe tap. Yes, he did. My vantage point.
He has been so impressive tonight. The only thing maybe is that right toe. It's hard to tell with his cleats and the sideline. Man.
And with the ruling already being a catch,
yeah,
I don't really see them going back on this one.
Floyd Lacey tonight. A couple of rushes for 42 yards. Right now, 5 catches, 116 yards, and a touchdown on 6 targets. So he's already got a career high in receiving yards if this holds. Currently a 21-yard completion.
Review. The ruling on the field is upheld. A catch at the sideline. 1st and 10.
So there you have it, a 21-yard pickup for Marshall. 6:42 to go, and what a throw on 3rd and 9.
A dime, back shoulder throw, too.
Del Rio Wilson, 18 of 22, 261 yards, 4 scores through the air, including 1 on the ground. And the clock is absolutely in Marshall's favor as they are letting this thing go down to the final seconds before they snap. Handoff. Antoine Roberts, he's got room. And the kid from Nashville with an explosive play. And now Marshall knocking on the door.
Yeah, and I think Marshall just gonna keep it on the ground from here on out. Because one, you run out the clock, you kick a field goal, now you go up 2 scores. And probably gonna be under 3 minutes.
Roberts from JP2, the same high school as 2-time Indy 500 champion Joseph Newgarden. Running about as fast as Joseph Newgarden right there. First and 10 from the 25. They go back to Roberts' left side. He's got space. Turning it upfield, knocked down at the 10-yard line. And now this Marshall running attack, imposing their will against this Middle Tennessee defense that's looking a little gassed.
Yeah, and it's starting really with the outside receivers blocking the exterior defenders of MTSU. The defenders of MTSU have to fight outside. They have to make sure they keep their outside shoulder free. And you see it on this play. You get blocked in and you got outside leverage. You cannot afford that. But great job, though. Great execution by Marshall. And like I said, they're just going to run the ball here on out.
33 yards for Roberts on the last 2 carries. And they go to Allen. He's fighting through tackles, breaks free. And Mike Allen trying to shut out the lights here at Floyd Stadium.
That was a statement drive. You knew Marshall was going to keep the ball on the ground, and yet they still couldn't be stopped. What a great job by the Thundering Herd.
Mike Allen throwing shoulders and stiff arms. And that right there is the kind of football that Tony Gibson wants to play.
Smash mouth.
And now it is a 2-score lead with 4:38 to go. Right when Middle had taken the momentum away, here come the Thundering Herd. 20 unanswered points here in the fourth quarter by Marshall. 6 plays, 67 yards, just under 4 minutes on the drive. And the Thundering Herd getting hot, heading into conference play next week. Middle still has 3 timeouts. Trailing by 14 at home. What a fourth quarter. A 21-point fourth quarter for Marshall here on the road. Quinn's kick bounces out of the back of the end zone, and Vadiato and this Middle Tennessee offense. A tough hill to climb with 4:38 to go, 3 timeouts left. But now this offense has to find a tempo that they just have not played with really tonight. And they've been going backwards the last 2 drives, -4 yards.
Yeah, I think that what might help them have a little success is that 9 times out of 10, Marshall is going to play coverage and really play the clock. The clock is on their side. They're up 2 touchdowns. And so you don't want to give up anything cheap and deep and keep everything in front of you. So the Blue Raiders may have more success on this drive due to the soft coverage.
Vadiato looking downfield, and Butler found a pocket in the zone, and a nice pickup on first down. Pickup of about 19.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like last game against Nevada. When you have Nevada, you're winning 13-0 with 6 minutes in the game. So your play calling kind of changes. You get a little bit soft in coverage.
Here comes the blitz from the corner. Vadiato stays up. Darrell Sweeting was well on his way to his 2nd sack. Somehow Vadiato stayed on his feet, ducked below the hit. And it's almost like Sweeting just thought that Vadiato was going to hit the deck.
Yeah, I think that in today's game as a defender, when you get around the quarterback, you're a little undecided.
Sure.
Should I hit him? Should I lay out? I don't want to be suspended for the next game. It's in the second half. And then you end up missing, you still got the sack, but you missed the tackle. It could have been a harder hit on the quarterback.
Vadiato throwing, 2nd down, checking down to Middlebrook out of the backfield. He will get to the 50-yard line, and now the scrum will push him back. But the clock continues to roll. Middle Tennessee's got to start using these sidelines. And now Middlebrook will gingerly head to the sideline. So he's got that left thumb taped. Ricky Hunt Jr. takes his spot in the backfield. 3rd and 2, Vadiato throwing against the blitz. Cox dropped it after the hit from Cam Smith.
Hey, this has been Cam. This has been Cam Smith's second half, man. He's been making plays all over the field. And a great hit right there. Be able to dislodge the ball.
And this is the 2nd time that Cannon Lewis has been injured in this ball game. Had to be helped off the field last time out. Wasn't putting any pressure on that right leg, and you see just awkward contact with his own teammate, and he's being checked out by the Marshall training staff. Mentioned Lewis came over with head coach Tony Gibson from North Carolina State, and when we were talking to Tony Gibson earlier in the week, he said, hey man, if I stayed in North Carolina State and was the defensive coordinator forever, I was cool with that. I was set. I loved my life there. I loved working for Coach Dave Dorn. But when this job came open, I knew I couldn't turn it down. I knew it was the perfect fit for me. And why not? He's from small town, Van, West Virginia. Coached at West Virginia a couple of times. He knows how important this Marshall program is. And he's got his team in a pretty sweet spot, up 14 with 3.5 to go on the road. Battiato out of the pocket, heading towards the sideline, takes a pop. And a big hit coming in from Jaden Johnson, the linebacker from Dunbar, West Virginia. Laying down a little West Virginia lumber. And that'll turn it over on downs.
And not only was that a hard hit, but it was the hit that prevented the Blue Raiders from getting the first down. And you talking about flying all over the field. That's what the Thunderbird Herd been doing all night. And man, Jaden Johnson, because he was in coverage. He was guarding a receiver. Then he seen eyes. He seen Nick Battiato get out of the pocket. And he said, hey, I got to go seek and I got to go hit. And that's what he did. Great stop by him.
So now Marshall got to think, going to keep it on the ground, force Middle Tennessee to start burning some timeouts. What an impressive fourth quarter performance by Marshall on both sides of the ball. Handoff up the middle. Mike Allen picks up 6. And Marshall now over 430 yards of total offense, as Middle will use their first timeout with 3:19 to go. But a very, very balanced offensive attack here tonight for Marshall. 260 yards in the air, 173 on the ground, with 3 guys for Marshall with at least 40 yards on the ground. Mike Allen leading the way with 72. Lacey with 42. Roberts with 41, coming on 3 carries. And that's the advantage that you got to think, if you're Marshall, that you have when you run so many different running options out onto the field, whether it's your quarterbacks or your running backs. Those different running styles keeping defenses guessing.
Yes, when we don't have just one go-to player, then you can just call any play, because you believe, like, hey, man, if I get it in Lacey's hand, I'm going to have success. If I get it in Allen's hand, I'm going to have success. So it just makes you more dangerous as an offense.
Hand off again. Mike Allen, good enough for a first down.
And the sign that you're dominating the game is that even when the team knows what you're going to run and they still can't stop you, you have imposed your will on the team. And that's what the Thunderbird Herd has done to the Blue Raiders. The Blue Raiders know that they have to run, and they're still picking up 5-6 yards per carry.
Yeah, if this, I know we often talk about football and boxing terms, punches, counter punches, haymakers, but this is a full-on rope-a-dope from Marshall as Mike Allen picks up another 9 yards on the carry, but taking the punches for the first 3 quarters, weathering the storm, and then at the same time wearing out that Middle Tennessee defense. And then when that, that 10th, 11th, 12th, those championship rounds come in, then you're starting to throw the heavy punches.
You're right, and I think that Marshall kind of got comfortable. They felt like they was in control of the game first half, and then they started doing the trick plays, but then they come out in the second half and say, you know what, let's just do what we do. We run the ball, play action. Run, play action. And now they don't have to throw the ball. They're up by 14 points, and now they're just really just running the ball all over the Blue Raiders right now. And just a great sign, man. Coach Gibson, I think he might get some more Taco Bell tonight, man.
Yeah, 2 a.m. Taco Bell run. Talking to him earlier in the week, we asked him, how'd you celebrate your first win? And He said, well, afterwards, you know, hung out with the team for a little bit and had a beer at the stadium late at night with some of the admin, and then hit up Taco Bell at 2 a.m. He said that might not have been the greatest decision for the
Maybe
belly in the morning.
Upset stomach after,
yeah.
but
a little Pepto-Bismol after that.
Yeah.
2nd and 2, they go right back to Mike Allen, and Allen close to the sticks. And Allen has already had a career night tonight. Career high 88 yards. And that'll bring us to the 2-minute timeout. What a fourth quarter performance from the Thundering Herd tonight on the road. Trying to make it 2 in a row. Derek Mason, all I can do is watch from the Middle Tennessee sidelines. His team down 14, tied this game up at 28 in the third quarter, but since it has been all Marshall here in the fourth, as Mike Allen will pick up the first down on 3rd and 1.
And I just go back to that penalty.
Which one? There's been
the punt.
Yeah.
The punt. That one right there changed and shifted momentum right there.
Middle opting to hang on to that one timeout as Carlos Del Rio Wilson will get into victory formation. And takes the first knee. $12 penalties, 111 yards tonight for Middle Tennessee. They had 74 yards on the ground. 72 of those came in one run from Jaquel Middlebrook.
Yeah, I think that says it all right there, man. You have 111 yards in penalties. It's very difficult to win a game, especially a close game.
Yeah, and we're not talking, you know, 5-yard false starts. You know, we're talking 15-yard penalties to keep drives alive for Marshall. So this is going to be a tough one to swallow for Middle, because there were some really bright spots from this offense. So many big chunk plays from this Middle Tennessee offense that averaged almost 8 yards a play tonight.
I think we hear Coach Mason talk about it right every week. He sees the bright spots. He sees how the team keeps getting better, but it's always something that's just snipping at their Achilles heel and prevents them from becoming and being the team he believes that they could be.
So Marshall will come into Murfreesboro for the first time since 2017 and pick up the win on the road. And Tony Gibson has gone back-to-back, picked up career win number 1 last weekend at home, and now he's got his first career road win this weekend. And he'll get a chance to make it 3 in a row next week on the road at Louisiana, as Marshall will open up Sun Belt play. And last year, this was a Marshall team that was picked to be 5th or 6th. They were picked 6th in this year's coaches poll. Last year, they won the whole thing. They won the Sun Belt. Now, obviously, this is a new team, 75 new players. But the way they played tonight, the way that they controlled the line of scrimmage, especially in this fourth quarter, this is going to be a Marshall team that I think some folks in the Sun Belt need to keep an eye on.
You're right, and I think we know Marshall can run the ball, but if Carlos Del Rio Wilson plays like this, they are going to definitely complete for a Sun Belt championship.
And Justin Beasley is with the winning coach, Tony Gibson.
Coach, a thundering performance in the second half for your Thundering Herd. Tell me about what adjustments you made in the second half for that to happen.
Yeah, I thought we tackled better defensively. We played much better in the second half, and then our offense that took total control of that game in the fourth quarter, 21-0 in the fourth, so that was big.
Your quarterback had as many incompletions as he did touchdowns. That was 4. What did you make of his performance?
Yeah, unbelievable. You know, he's had 2 really, really good weeks, and really proud of him because he was you know, we put a little stress on him early in the season, didn't start him game one, and he just kept working. I'm so proud of him and this football team for how we kept fighting. You know, we've been here 9 hours now, so it's been a long day.
What kind of adjustments did you make in the second half, and then I'll let you get home?
Yeah, no, we, you know, what we did defensively, we need to be aggressive. That's our DNA. We're an aggressive defense, and I thought our kids stepped up, and we tackled better. So that was the key to all of it.
Congratulations on the win. Thanks for the time.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, JB, and thanks, Coach. Congrats on the win. And it's going to be a sweet trip home for the Thundering Herd. And, Beasley brought up a great point. An outstanding performance tonight from Carlos Del Rio Wilson. 18 of 22, 261 yards through the air, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Also had a rushing touchdown in that first quarter.
He played a clean game, and Coach Gibson came in saying, hey, we don't have just one quarterback right now. And I think after this game, Carlos Del Rio Wilson
I think you got
QB1.
one quarterback right now. That's right. There's a look at the final numbers for tonight. Hey, Nick Vattiato had a pretty good night as well. 299 yards through the air. The completion percentage drops back down to 59%. But really, in those first 3 quarters, before they had to start throwing the ball every down in the fourth quarter, he was in control of the offense.
Yeah, he was balling. He had a great first 3 quarters. But like Coach Mason said, the team hasn't put a complete game. Last cost them here. They played great first 3 quarters, fourth quarter cost them. They have to play a complete game if they're going to compete for the Conference USA Championship.
So Marshall wins their second straight. They are back to 500, 2-2. Middle Tennessee drops to 1-3. They are on the road next weekend at Kennesaw State to start conference play. For Justin Beasley, Jeremy Kellum, and our spotter Devin Lockhart, and for all the guys and gals in the Truck for Media Arts Productions at Middle Tennessee, I am Jake Rose saying so long from the Borough, where Marshall walks away with a 42-28 win.